Hey everybody, this is Mark with iAbleTech128, and today we are going to be checking out some of my first phones that I had before I got to a smartphone. So I'm sure you all remember that time before we had our fancy smartphones with just a slab of glass, a big huge camera that can record 4K video, apps, all that sort of stuff. Before you had that, you probably had something like this, your traditional flip phone that was okay for some things and great at making calls. Then we started to get into texting a little bit more with the keyboard phone, where you could actually flip out the screen, watch content and media on it. You could text away. But let's go ahead and take a look at some retro tech and some devices that I used to use before I got into smartphones. So this right here was my very first phone. It was from Verizon. It's the Samsung portable dual band tri-band phone, tri-mode phone. It had a removable battery. It was made completely of plastic. It had a camera. It had two screens, one right here, one right there. That's something you don't even see today. You don't even see two screens. It was fine. It made calls. That's pretty much it. You guys may remember before we switched over to T-Mobile, we had Verizon for a long time, and that was, I don't really know why I had it. I had like 100 minutes, or how many? 100,000 minutes or something. We had a lot of minutes, but there was no texting. We did not have any texting at all. If we wanted to, it was like 5 cents per text. And because this didn't even have internet, there was no internet service that we had at all with this. But it made calls. I couldn't text. I think there was like a 2-month trial for texting. So I did do a couple of texts, but that's all I ever did. I've never texted until I got T-Mobile, which was only a couple years ago. The thing I didn't like about this phone was the shape. It's kind of weird to be talking like this, and the thing that I hated the very most was closing it. I usually use my finger right here to close it, and then when it closes, it always pinches my hand. I've always been afraid of that. And let me actually plug this in and see if we can get this. Oh my goodness, low battery powering off. So this was a very beautiful interface. We could customize our wallpaper. We had our date and time. We have our battery symbol. There's actually a glossary inside the app to let you know what the symbols mean, because they're kind of confusing. We have messages, contacts, and then menu. The thing that I do not like about these phones are the sounds. Verizon's typical sounds are not the best. Under messages, we have text message, we have instant message, and that's pretty much it. As you can see, I have 3 in my inbox. Oh, hi, look at the picture. Oh, that's weird. Shall I reply? There's no service on here. But that was this phone. It was, again, a fine phone, but this thing I had for 2 years because of Verizon's wonderful contracts. But now I went to something a little bit better, and I got the Slide. I thought this was the coolest thing ever, how you could just slide up, talk on the phone, and I really liked that. This was actually pretty ahead of its time. It had 4 capacitive keys on here. There was 2 options. We had a clear and then a speaker. It had the infamous iPod spin wheel where we could spin this around with the click button in the middle. The spin wheel also clicked. There's a screen on here, and then we had a fairly large speaker on the back. And we have, what was this, a 1.5 millimeter headphone jack, or 2.5? We're now at 3.5, so it's getting bigger, but I never even had earbuds for this. Up here we have our keys. They're actually a lot smaller than this other one. The keys are a lot smaller. It's harder to type on, but again, I never texted, so that wasn't a problem. And then everything was very basic and simple. So let's go ahead and see if this one turns on. As you can see right there, we have our capacitive keys. And this actually lit up with a bunch of different colors. The capacitive keys actually gave you some pretty nice haptic feedback, kind of like what you get on the iPhone 6s. But this one actually had a 1.3 megapixel camera because it was that bad. It wasn't very good at all. One thing I found really, really awesome about this is that this was ahead of the selfie game. You didn't have to take a picture on the back of your phone. You have your front-facing camera now, but if I wanted to take a picture of myself on this one, we had to go like this, and who knew if I was in the shot or not. But this one right here, it has a mirror on it. So with this mirror, you could see yourself and make sure that you were in frame. And that was really awesome because I could tell if I was in frame. I never took a picture of myself with this, but it was nice that you could actually do that. I thought that was pretty cool. That was this phone. And then 2 years later, I got another phone, but the next one is the LG NV3. I got it tricked out with a LA Kings skin. I could have gotten the LG Touch, which would have been a little more ahead of its time, but I just got the non-touchscreen one. The other one had like a full touchscreen on the front. This one has a 3 megapixel camera, and the buttons are a little bit bigger. But the thing that I really liked about this was that it had this keyboard, which I don't know why I ever needed it, because I never texted. I was never able to text, but this did have internet. That was really awesome. I've never been able to get it to work though. I tried to Google back when Google was just invented, what time the sun set, and I could not find it. I don't even remember if the page actually loaded. This one actually charges off of micro USB, which is nice. Again, we have our nice screen with a wallpaper. We have dual speakers, and then on the front we have this where you can pretty much do all the same stuff on either screen. This one just has bigger keys. It's a keyboard, a full-size keyboard. I never had any messages, but this one actually had internet, and it was called Chat. I don't know why they thought internet, the internet browser would be a good name, Chat. I don't know. It also had email, so a dedicated email app on there, so I could access email, which was pretty awesome as well. It only sometimes worked. We have blogs, which I have no clue what that is. But those were my first phones before I got the iPhone 4. And ever since I've gotten every single iPhone and multiple Android devices. But that's it for this video. Let me know what your first phone was in the comment section below. And be sure to hit that subscribe button for more videos on the latest smartphone technology. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, this is Mark with Apple Tech 128, and have a great day.